Welcome back to Cult Pop. Jim Hall here again, and we've got something really interesting for you now. I've had all kinds of interesting authors on over here the past 5-6 months. None more interesting than Corey Redekop, who we're about to talk to, author of Shelf Monkey. Shelf Monkey is one of the coolest books I've read in the past couple of years. Part satire, part attack at part of the idiots in publishing and people who promote publishing and some of the things that really get on my nerves, but one of the funnest damn books to read. And I'm telling you folks, you got to go out, after you watch this interview, go out and find it. Corey, thanks so much for being on the show. Shelf Monkey, one of the most unique and fun books I've read in the past couple of years. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, the book came about from my personal experiences working in a big box bookstore. And it involves the protagonist, Thomas. He's depressed, he's lonely, he's not where he wants to be in life. So what he's done is gotten a job at a bookstore. And he sort of ends up befriending a couple of the employees there. And they have for lack of a better term, book club that takes a very strange and unusual turn. I don't want to give too much away. But intermixed with that is a talk show host, very popular all over the television, and that talk show host, Monroe Purvis, has his own book club, which is going like gangbusters. Everybody buys every book, and the books themselves are abysmally bad. And Thomas and his friends sort of take up the cause that somehow Monroe must be stopped.
Well, I absolutely love the character of Monroe Purvis. In my mind, was a cross between everything I hate about Oprah, everything I hate about Dr. Phil, and maybe Arsenio Hall all thrown together. So I think you did a great job in making just a very goofy and dislikable character. So you did a great job of writing that character.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, I mean, when I was first writing it, I actually toyed with the idea. I mean, obviously, it takes its idea from Oprah, of course, but I actually toyed with the idea of actually making it Oprah because many authors use real people in their novels, and under the rules of satire, it's certainly allowed, but Oprah has all the money, and I didn't really want to fight that if it came up to it, so call me a coward, but I decided to make up the character instead.
Well, Corey, yeah, no need to irritate Oprah, that's for sure. But I think you've written a book that, hey, it could find itself on that list because it's a fantastic book. But reading a little bit about your history, and you just spoke on it, you kind of started off working at one of the big book chains like we have here in the States, up there in Canada. And did that kind of lead to some of the frustration with the characters have in Shelf Monkey?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when I worked at the bookstore is called, the big bookstore here is called Chapters. It's like a Borders down south. And when I worked there, it was really when Oprah's book club was near its height. I mean, just the absolute mania. And then she stopped it for a while. So it became kind of sort of a running gag for everyone who worked there that people would come in and all they wanted was what Oprah told them to read. And it's still like that to an extent. I think it's a little less now. But it became very frustrating for people who want to, for us who want to let people know, about these other books. Those books, some of those books are really good. I'm not going to argue with Oprah. I mean, she recommended Rohinton Mystery. She recommended Anne-Marie MacDonald. These are great novels. But she also recommended Wally Lamb, and that's kind of the sticking point with me. I can't stand the man. I mean, I'm sure he's a lovely man, but I can't stand his books. But it was just that finality of their thought processes is just that Oprah, this is what Oprah told me to read, and that's the way it is. And it seemed like it was almost sort of a fundamentalist zeal to it in terms of the born-again Christians, where they cannot read under the tenets of what they believe. They cannot read something that sort of contradicts their tenets. It's the same sort of way with the Oprah. I mean, Oprah told me to read this, and that's good enough for me, and anything else might actually spoil the experience for me. So it became very, very frustrating, and actually after a while became kind of a joke. And then I started playing in my head, if I actually met Oprah or she came to the store, like it would ever happen, but you got your down periods and you daydream, and that's sort of where the idea for the entire novel came out of.